morning, good afternoon, and good evening. How's everyone doing? I hope everyone's doing well. So, this is gonna be this is the second part of the conversation I had the first time with the Arabic, and it'll be an increase from what we were talking in Arabic. The last video I did was in Arabic, and it was about just the sheer ridiculousness we have here in Egypt when it comes to certain hiring standards and certain hiring practices and certain salaries that are being given, and just the sheer ridiculousness of it. So currently in Egypt, what we have is, and this is also why I actually, so I'm going to tackle two things in here. I'm going to tackle one thing that is it is rooted, literally something that is rooted within the colonialism and idea of colonies, and still that mentality that of quote unquote a certain colonizer, shall we say, is quote unquote more superior than our current people. And a certain language, if you have a certain language, then you are quote unquote more educated than if you do not have that language. That's one thing, and I'm just going to keep it at that because it is going to get controversial very soon. And the second thing is the Afrocentricism, and the reason why both of them are basically two sides of the same coin, and how both of them are equally bad. So currently in the hiring processes, if you are of a certain nationality, doesn't matter what skin color you have, by the way. So this is gonna hit the Afrocentricism part, but doesn't matter what your skin color is, doesn't matter what you look like. But if you are a certain nationality, then you are dubbed as far more superior than the Egyptians, even though it is well known that from that certain part of the world, quote unquote, only the failures come here, except for Egyptologists. Now, these guys, I far more respect to everyone. Egyptologists in general, I have so much respect for them. And archaeologists, I have so much respect for them, because they flock from all over the world to come to Africa, which is, by the way, this is one of the reasons why I get very, very, very pissed off when it comes to Africa, when it comes to Afrocentrism, because of the whole let's talk about Egypt as being Middle Eastern when it comes to Palestine, but it is part of Africa when it comes to the by Africa, done by African people, and yada yada yada, and how much it sounds, and the argument that it's not bad. We're just reclaiming our history. No, you're not. No, you're freaking not. Okay. Let's get two things straight. Okay, so the Macedonians by nature were intermarried, interbred. They literally had an inbred. They married themselves. The royal family did to keep it going. Understand that the context of that time doesn't matter. 8 generations, 9 generations, 10 generations later, they did not marry from outside. They married from each other. A sister would marry her brother, a father would marry their daughter, and it was pharaonic. That was actually a part of the pharaohs. It was how pharaohs ruled, is they literally kept the blood pure by being. That's what they did. It's the context of. Is it cringeworthy? Hell yes, it is cringeworthy. Do we know now that it was extremely stupid to do that? Yes, we do know that it was extremely stupid to do that. But it is what it is. It was a societal thing within the context of the situation there, that this is what happened. Now, the argument, and here's the thing is, because also the people who came up with Afrocentrism are the very people. This is why it's mind-boggling for me sometimes. But the same people who keep saying that this country is rooted in yada 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 yada, and rooted in yada 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 yada. Like this country is rooted. When they say about their own country, they say it's rooted in slavery. It's rooted on like taking over like native lands. I mean, you're doing exactly the same thing. Only you're hiding it. You're hiding behind the quote unquote. This we are all Africans, therefore it has to be like me. No, it doesn't. It doesn't have to be like you. And the idea that due to it not being have to be like you, and there's like a backlash that is immense. Like, I have to understand something. Egyptians by nature are pacifists. They are pretty much like they have the highest hospitality. They welcome people in. They don't care about what happens. It doesn't really matter. Honestly, I mean, I look no further than what's currently and sadly what's happening in Syria. Syrians pretty much like they've been having war in their places. They have been dislocated in their places. They came to Egypt and they were welcomed in Egypt. They currently have businesses in Egypt. And by the way, the businesses in Egypt that are like led by the Syrians are freaking awesome. Kudos to them. Honestly, kudos to them. Do we have like this fanatics that say like they took our jobs? Yes, we do have that. But again, it happens a lot. But honestly, my opinion, kudos to them. Absolutely love them. Absolutely love their businesses. I enjoy, there are some stuff that I do not agree with them on, but on the contrary, I completely kudos to them. They took a very bad situation and turned it positive. Kudos to them for that. And that's exactly that's like that. Compare that to like the entirety of Egypt. Egypt has always and will always be like a very hospitable place. They don't really care. We literally like, hey, welcome. I mean, we joke around in history and say that if any ruler got bored, they came to Egypt, like conquered Egypt for like a couple of years and then just like became Egyptianized and then left. And that's kind of because of a lot of like of the location of Egypt. Egypt's location is paramount for trade, for like the civilizations, because it intersects with so many civilizations, and it's very, 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 yes, I get it. I understand the prestigious part of like the pharaohs and like the whole like ancient Egypt. I get the prestige, man, but so is Africa. Africa is filled with great civilizations. Look no further than Ethiopia. Ethiopia was like it again. Ethiopia was kind of like Egypt in the fact that it was intersected with so many like civilizations, from like Mesopotamia all the way to like ancient Egypt and like other African ones. Ancient Egypt, if you look at like the maps, the ancient maps, Babylon and Mesopotamia literally were like near like Ethiopia. And the reason why they're near Ethiopia is because of like the rivers, the Nile River on one side and the Tigris River on the other side. So they took from like the Tigris River all the way to like the Nile River. That's kind of how Mesopotamia is. It depends on like the dynasties you're in and what dynasties you're talking about and like which one. And the dynasties that are like the later dynasties are not as well known as like, of course, the Assyrians, the Sumerians, and the Akkadians. But it's wonderful. I mean, like again, it is Africa as Africa. Freakishly awesome like civilizations in there, and India was in there as well. Like there's a lot of things that you see there that you're looking at that, and you know that India was there. You know that the Indians were there. You know that like a lot of the Asians were there. Were in Africa. That's how beautiful how wonderful the civilization is. And Afrocentricism is doing the exact same thing that this practice does in HR. It is mind-boggling because you're ignoring all the other civilizations, all the other wonderful civilizations and wonderful like stories that are being told and mythology, and just it's so beautiful, and you're leaving all of that and concentrating on one, which is not even like, I mean, yeah, it's great and everything. Like I said, it has prestige. Does it have a lot of good buildings? Yes, it does. Does it have astrology? And was it the mother of like were they like the fathers of astrology? Not really. Actually, Babylon was, but it is a debate that are still within the civilizations. I am team Mesopotamia was the first people that actually came up with the zodiacs, with the idea of zodiacs and the idea of constellations and things like that, and they had it in different names, but pretty much they were like the ones who came up with it, with like the current Greek zodiac system. That's actually Mesopotamia is actually the one that did it. And Mesopotamia, by the way, before we say something, Mesopotamia is part of Asia. So, and I don't see Asians going like, oh, these are Asians. They're currently modern day Iraq. Are they Arabian? No. Are they from the Semitic? Are they from the Semitic, like for the Semitic tribe? Yes. So part of the origins of like the Semitic tribe actually comes from like the Persian area, which intersects with Mesopotamia, and it's an interesting concept, and again it's the same thing, like I said, with Afrocentricism and HR. It's the same idea. You don't concentrate on one nationality and say that these are the most superior nationality ever, because they're not. Yes, they have a lot of things that are like, technically speaking, are quote unquote prestigious, but you're ignoring the rest of like the other nationalities and each one and how they bring in what they bring in on the tables. I'll give you a very, very simple thing. When I used to work in Dubai World, we used to have a lot of like Western Indians. Like we had India, as in India, we had like Pakistan, Bangalore, people like that, and the way that they operate outside of their comfort zone is inspiring. They group together and they start, like, all the experts from their community actually starts grouping together and they start teaching each other, and you like sit down and just sit down and observe how they talk, and they will like if somebody does something wrong, like one of the other people from the same nationality will kind of like just like budge in, and they'll be like, hey, you could do it this way, and this is how they introduce it. The other people of like, this is how you did it wrong, but this is how you do it right, and it's inspiring. And yet we ignore all of that. Here in Egypt, we ignore all of that. We ignore the Egyptians themselves. Like, there are Egyptians that are geniuses. I've had the pleasure of working with a few of them that are just like beyond geniuses. I'm just sitting there, I'll go like, I have like, my jaws will drop and I'll be like, dude, what did you just say again? And they'll be like, yeah, I know, I'm sorry if I'm like butting in. It's like, no. Again, what did you say? And they'll be like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I never thought about that. That's actually a very good idea. And it's being shadowed by a nationality that just is not cutting it. I don't care that they are like, they're the best face for like how somebody looks like or how something looks like. It's not that. I mean, when did we have such a foreigner complex that we only care about a person's nationality more than we care about what they do and how they're doing it and what they're doing and everything. And then the other thing is, make it easier for Egyptians. Literally, make it easier for Egyptians that are coming from outside. You want the foreigner experience with like a better experience? Yeah, go get the people from outside. Get the Egyptians from outside. But then make it easy for them to transition here. Make it easy for them to transition from like an area here to another. I'm sorry that I'm rambling and I'm like hitting both cases but it's literally like I said, it's two sides of the same coin. Both of them, like I said, both of them have their own problems. One of them is ignoring the entirety of Africa, the entirety of African civilization with its beauty. Like, it is so. Just sit down and actually read about the different civilizations in Africa. You would be surprised, just like how first of all, how important Africa is, like ancient wise, and then the resources. The reason why we have the problem we currently have is because of the resources in Africa. And Africa has like the most resources. The Middle East, what currently is called the Middle East, has the most resources. It's North Africa, most of the resources. If not for like North Africa, like mid, and then the Middle East of Africa, and you're ignoring all of that just to be like, oh, this one particular civilization that we deem as more prestigious than the other civilizations is ours. It's like, no. Enjoy the other ones. Really, enjoy the other ones. Enjoy it. And it's not, and before the whole like it's anti-blackness, it's not anti-blackness. It's not. If we were truly to be anti-blackness, oh, we would give it to you, because, and we would take the other ones. We take some of the other ones, the Ghanans, like I said, the Ethiopian ones. If you really want to play that card, by all means, we would take, like, we'll be like, as Arabians, we were the ones, as Mesopotamians, we were in Ethiopia, therefore the Ethiopian civilization, all of it is ours. Because Mesopotamia was there. And Egypt was there, by the way. Egypt was also Ethiopia. So, yeah. We can play that card too if we want to, but we don't want to. We want to give everything its level. We want to give everything its rightful place. And its rightful level, and its rightful thing, and its rightful. And again, if you have not only one or two or three, but you have like 4 Egyptologists who are Egyptians who are telling you that this whole thing is not correct, and they're like they're sounding off as other archaeologists are saying, Egyptologists are sounding off and saying the same thing. It's a you problem. It's not an us problem. It's a you problem. It's not an anti-blackness problem. It's a you problem. Because you continuously try to take something that is not yours, because you cannot take it in your own country. I mean, literally, that's for those who don't understand what Afrocentricism is. It's actually originated in the U.S., which is the whole reason why there is this big lash going on. It's not because of like it's like African. It's because it's originated in the U.S. It's just seriously, like, dude, like, kind of chill out and like leave us alone here. You want to deal with yourself. I don't really care, but like, stop being with us. Stop meddling with our lives and everything. Anyways, bye-bye.